giving my speech today on capital punishment, also known as the death penalty. So, what is capital punishment? Wikipedia defines capital punishment as the execution of a person by judicial process as a punishment for an offense. These offenses can include homicide, rape, premeditated murder, and many others. We also use the death penalty for terrorist cases. Take, for instance, Timothy McVeigh, who was sentenced to lethal injection for the Oklahoma City bombing. I think it's important for people to understand the death penalty because it is a controversial topic. Whether you are for or against it, you have strong opinions about it. Some say it's inhumane, and others say it's justification for those families of the victims. I think in order to form a decision or stance on this topic, you need to know a little bit about it. In the past, many different methods of execution were used. Some of those include electrocution, firing squad, stoning, gas chamber, hanging, and lethal injection. Now, if we go back a little further, there were many more brutal methods used. Some of those include breaking wheel, boiling to death, crucifixion, impalement, crushing by animals such as elephants, stoning, execution by hanging, dismemberment, sawing, decapitation, scaphism, and necklacing. But today, lethal injection is the most commonly used method of execution because it is the most humane. There are currently 35 states that practice the use of the death penalty, even some liberal states such as California. The state with the highest number of executions in the U.S. is Texas. They also use the death penalty in the U.S. military. There are only 15 states that do not use capital punishment, and some of those include Alaska, Maine, and recently the state of New Mexico. Not all murder cases result in capital punishment. A juvenile cannot be sentenced to death under any circumstances. There are also health issues that could come into play, such as mental retardation and mental illness. Another way around the death penalty is life in prison without a chance of parole. So what makes the death penalty so controversial? It's been controversial for a very long time. The Bible even mentions Jesus stopping a woman from being stoned by saying that the only person who can throw the first stone is blameless. There are also the Salem witch trials, where many innocent men and women were put to death because they were accused of being witches. During a court proceeding, the defendant will try and prove their innocence. During the Salem witch trial, there were tests used to see if that person was a witch. The tests used were just ridiculous, like tying rocks to a person's feet and saying that this person is a witch if they sink. Rocks sink. So that would make everyone a witch. This is where all the brutal executions took place. Mainly, these men and women were burned at the stake or hanged. Recent advances in technology have been able to prove a person's innocence after they have been convicted and executed. Since 1973, over 130 people have been released from death row because the court found evidence of their innocence. On the other hand, the death penalty is justifiable when the convicted criminal has committed a heinous crime and has no chance for rehabilitation. You wouldn't want that person walking around the street. The execution process is also much less painful today. The lethal toxins are injected into an IV and the person passes away almost instantly. Now that we've gone over what capital punishment is and what justifies its use, it is easy to see why it would be controversial. You've got facts, and hopefully it forms some opinion about this topic. So now you've got enough information to make your own decision about the death penalty. Thanks for listening.